Hey guys, Matt Dog here with another video. We've got Grass Horus Eldlich back to Master 1. I had about a 75% win streak after the last game I had on stream. So this was the game that I had on the stream like a week or so ago, where I played against like a runic deck, and I think I shared in my most recent video. So after that, having made all the necessary adjustments to my deck, um, we climbed up from Master 3, Master 2. We almost got to Master 1, but got bounced down a little bit. Up, down, up, down, up, down, and Master 1. So 75% win streak. If you want to just arbitrarily include the other four games that were on stream, it would be a 70% win streak. Um, Really quickly, I'll show off the deck because a lot of you who are regulars on the channel kind of get the gist of what these decks are. Um, I might even just go over kind of the interesting changes I've made now before even getting into the replays. So instead of having the two different level 10s, I just have Dora, which is this one level 10 monster that you can make. And basically, the way I imagine you would use it is almost like a um, Omni Negate to protect your monsters. So you make one of your monsters unaffected after your opponent tries to target it or banish it or something as sort of a interruption that way. I just found that I'm never making the other two level 10 monsters, and now that we're using pot cards, like there's no need for like if because we're using the pot card, sometimes you banish one of the two level 10 dreadnoughts, but not the other one, and you kind of need both of them to work. And also this deck doesn't have a problem OTKing or one turn killing your opponent. We have the Horus cards, we have the Diabellstar cards, we have Lord of Heavenly Prison. So like it was just unnecessary. And to be fair, I never made this either. So like this is like on the chopping block. It's one of the first cards that I choose to banish off Prosperity, but whatever. Obviously, we have to keep Blackluster Soldier. He's a Giga Chad. Um, Chaos Angel, you know him, you love him. A couple cards that I brought back after I made some room. Obviously, Garunix is a card that I made on stream that I really like. It's basically a walking dark hole, destroy a spell card. It's good going second. Basically, we have Dingirsu as a going second card that also protects your field from destruction. Garunix as a going second card that blows up all monsters, and Lancelot as a going second card that allows you to make Zeus. I never made him, and honestly, I never even really made him. I guess we already have torrential tributes and karma cannons and rollback onto elemental burst, so we don't really need to blow up their board as much because we already can do that with other means. The cards that I made a lot more often were the going first cards, the Sky Prison, which locks down Rescue Ace, Snake Eyes, Fire Kings, all that stuff, and Zombie Vampire, which is more of a card to help you thin out your deck, mill out a couple of your Eldritch cards, or maybe a rollback if you're kind of light in your hand, like you don't have a lot of good go interruptions into their turn. And then Zombie Vampire steals a monster from your opponent or wherever after you use its mill effect, and then you make SP Little Knight so that you have an SP banish on one of the cards that they milled, plus other stuff. So Zombie Vampire and Sky Prison were probably the XYZ monsters that I made the most. Also, obviously, Selene and Access Code is fantastic. Um, I considered trying to make room for Ice Dragon's Prison. It seems like it's a strong interruption going into Fire Kings. I guess I don't know what cards I would cut. Like maybe I would drop one of the Lords, but Lord is great for your consistency. Like we would get into really long, slow games where we keep ourselves alive for a few turns with Torrential and Karma Cannon, and Lord is just a way to really help you go over the edge against your opponent. Um, I kind of wanted to cut one of the Diabell stars, but you really need three plus wanted just because this card, the Omni Negate Trap, and the Going Second Subversion card, like they're both kind of bricks on their own. So in order to justify the Diabellstar package, I think you really do need to have 4 cards that can search it out to justify these 2 kind of bricks to make it consistent enough that it's worth it. So I wouldn't cut those. I kept trying to find room to throw in a pair of Ice Dragons prisons, but ultimately I feel really happy about the deck. Cursed Eldland at 3 is great because now with the Horus and Diabellstar cards, it's great going second. Karmic Cannon annihilates your opponent. Torrential Tribute. I considered dropping Torrential to 2 because like it's not as good against Fire Kings as it is against other decks. But like I ran into pure Snake Eyes enough that I feel like keeping it at 3 is fine. Like it Torrential Tribute annihilates pure Snake Eyes. Like one Torrential Tribute versus a full Snake Eye combo, Torrential Tribute wins every time. Trap Trick at 2 keeps everything consistent. Banish any of your major traps. It can get sent to the grave and copied off of rollback. Oops. Off of rollback. Rollback's kind of the key to the whole deck. Yeah, so I feel like that's the deck profile. You know it, you love it. I'm going to post a link in the description that you'll be able to see all of the different cards specifically. It's like a link to Master Duel Meta. I tried to do that with my Master 1 decks to make it easier for folks. But now let's get into some replays. Up first, we have, okay, a Labrynth deck. I'm going to try to look at people's decks during this thing. Okay, so what have we got here? We've got a lot of kind of the hand trap version of Labrynth. Triple Karmic Cannon is great. A pot always gives you plus. Yeah, I guess this is like if you're going the hand trap route, I think this is solid. You can get away with running Gamma because all of your furniture can discard it. At least one rollback is nice, and you really need to have Karmic Cannon to be able to justify rollback. Yeah, and he also runs double Ice Dragon's Prison, which is really good in this format, in my opinion. Double Chaos Angel. Oh, he's running a little bit of the, no, okay, I see. Yeah, interesting deck. Let's see how we do against it. Yeah, I thought the climb was super straightforward. Like, obviously, it can be frustrating when you win a game and lose a game, like I did sort of at the very top end, especially because at least one of the games I lost, I made a misplay. Like, I should have made Dingirsu, but instead I just left both my horse monsters alone. Whatever. All right, so Labrynth card set 3. I mean, I'm suspecting it's either a Snake Eye player who's totally bricked or Lab. Battle phase, obviously, even though it's only 2 cards, you might as well force it out. We get a rollback engrave, Omni Negate. So he does turn off the Omni Negate because Diabellstar needs to be face up. There's no cards here that are worth discarding off of King Sark. All right, so now they reset that evenly matched basically did nothing. We do have a skill drain though, so we don't really care about either of the monster effects they're going to activate. Skill drain, goodbye. Ugh. Uh-oh. Okay, so now Karmic Cannon means they are able to pop the skill drain. But we do have Diabellstar, which can destroy their lady. We get rid of a Trap Trick, which maybe wasn't worth it, but whatever. Yeah, we're going neg a lot here. Like, oh, well, okay. So we make them surrender, I guess, but we had to give up a Psalm Strike and a Trap Trick just to be able to get a single Horus. Might have not been worth it, but I guess in the end it was. Duel number 2 versus the suspense. Okay, a snake guy. Wow. Daring today, aren't we, sir? Kashtira. Okay, let's actually look at this for a sec. Anything interesting? I don't know enough about how to build a snake eye deck. Yeah, obviously you want 3 of these. Okay, all right. I'll stick to my lane, which is the kind of back row control type decks. Yeah, I think this is probably one of these Snake Eye duels is literally just the only interruption I have is Torrential Tribute, and you use it and it annihilates them. Like it's so good. Yeah, this is probably the duel because we don't have any interruptions yet. Okay, drop an Imseti and an Eldlich. They have a Max C. Okay. Oh yeah, that's something else I wanted to talk about. Like there's this one YouTuber I really like who was really complaining about the Duelist Cup and kind of this format in general because it's kind of a max C simulator. He's just like, yeah, I mean, it's like if you draw max C, then you win, and if you don't, but your opponent draws max C, then you lose. It's just so boring. And You have like three hand traps and then two one card starters. So if they stop one, then you start the other. Ugh. So I can empathize with that kind of, you know, the fact that, thinking that for sure. Like, it makes sense. I get it. But if you want to avoid the Max C simulator, Trap Trick, Torrential Tribute blows everything up. Lord of Heavenly Prison, set grass looks greener. He puts one of our cards in the back row. Ooh, he did have Herpes Feather Duster. But, I mean, we're just going to add those cards to our hand with Happy. Yeah, I don't understand people who go for Obsedi instead of Happy. Like, the one Send to Grave is not nearly as important, to me at least, in a control deck as, like, one of these type of as being able to recycle resources like that. Yep, and then they just surrender. See, like this is why the Horus engine is so great. It synergizes really well with Eldritch, and people just surrender right away because they know that it's gonna allow you to kill them right away, and it has great grind game. Like I've seen some Eldritch folks say they are skeptical about running the Horus engine with a mill deck. I think it's too good to avoid. Oh wow, Rescue Ace Snake Eyes. Yeah, now at the top of Master 2 and Master 1, I definitely saw a lot of Snake Eye players. And as you're going to see, we're going to beat a lot of them. I can't remember how many going second games there are, but those are always my favorite. Ooh, there's one right now. Yeah, Triple Tactics Thrust is amazing going second. I'm running Talents as a one of to either get a draw two or to steal an opponent's monster, because I did notice I had a few games where I'd go out against Kashtira and I would be able to get them to trigger, a monster effect so that Thrust is live. But I don't really care about evenly matching them because I don't care if they still have their Arise Heart on the field, they can still annihilate me. Like Arise Heart is kind of a killer for this deck. So getting talents means we can steal their Arise Heart and then make a Zeus that has like 8 materials. So I like talents. We know that they don't have a Called by the Grave, so we're just betting they have an Ash Blossom. I mean, mostly we're hoping they activate a monster effect, and they do. I mean, they have SP Little Knights they're going to be able to dodge out of the way. Yeah, Grass is amazing. We have so many different ways to get it. Lord of Heavenly Prison, Triple Tactics Thrust, obviously just drawing it on its own, plus consistency cards. Let's get a draw, why not? Yeah, Wanted is really good. I really wish that we had multiple copies of it. Like, just ban Sinful, that spell card that also is a one card starter in the grave. Like, if you ban that, you can have Wanted back at 2 or 3, I think. All right, we've got an Omni Negate, non targeting Destroy, plenty of Engine, and it's just going to be hard for them to kill us. Also, what do we have in Grave? We have another rollback. Do we have an Elemental Burst? Yes. Okay, so we can blow up their whole field anytime we want. Yeah, when you have Elemental Burst, it's super important to be patient. This person's going to learn the hard way. I mean, they can still try to dodge with SP, but we have Conquistador, so we can just destroy their SP, which means that she can't dodge out of the way, which means all their cards are gone, and we still had an Omni Negate for Diavel Star. G to the G, thank you very much, goodbye. Well, well, well. If it isn't Snake Eyes. Yeah, you see why I'm not like super interested in going into like the ratios and deck profiles of Snake Eye builds. It's just like, I mean, they all do the same thing. Like, oh, maybe you run the Synchro version, maybe you don't. Maybe you run Droll and Lockbird or Nibiru, or maybe you don't. uh, okay, so first, obviously, Imseti. Yay! Yeah, we're not running Gamma anymore. It just felt unnecessary. Like it's only like the main reason I ran Gamma was specifically to make sure that my King Sarcophagus would go through, but I feel like just having 3 more copies of like other good cards is better. Okay, so we've actually got a pretty good board here. We've got a non-targeting Destroy, we've got a Solemn Strike, which can single-handedly stop Snake Eyes, Trap Trick, which can go into whatever, and a Transaction Rollback, which can copy whatever we go into. Oh gosh, is this the game that went for like a really long time? I can't remember. Okay. Yeah, there was one of these Snake Eyes games was crazy. Yeah, he puts us in the back row, but we just do not care. That's another reason Eldritch is good in this format. I'll say it every time. Yep, they're gonna make SP to get a banish off probably. Okay. Yeah, I'm being very patient here because when you only have a few interruptions, you kind of have to be. Yep, so here's where we're gonna make torrential, blow everything up. Goodbye. Does their Dark Charmer get a search off? What does he search? Magician's Souls. That's interesting. As like a way to get value off of the Dark Charmer. They do get a draw too. Notice how we did all that without activating any monster effects, by the way. Like their Triple Tactics talent was useless. So here it looks like they're about to end their turn, and they were going to end their turn with, who is it? This guy, Birch, who like on my turn allows them to start their Snake Eye combo again. Probably could have just probably would have been better just to Psalm Strike him when he activates his effect, but whatever. He activates Max C. So here instead I choose to Psalm Strike the Max C. Honestly, I'm not sure if that was the right play, but yeah, we stopped them from getting a draw 2. Yeah, I feel like I definitely should have held on to the Psalm Strike for his Birch and held on to my rollback, but I think I had like no. Yep, yeah. Because now we're in a lot of trouble. Like, what actually are my interruptions here? Nothing. Yeah, that was definitely a misplay that I made. But for some reason, he isn't able to kill me, so. SP Little Knight, if you banish a card, you're not going to be able to attack me directly. Okay, summon out an Eldritch. And I think we can just attack him and kill him. As long as we don't activate any effects. Yeah, goodbye. Nice. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, so even making this, I think it's important to have a deck strong enough that you can make a few misplays, even against like one of the better decks, and have that room for error, I guess, that is possible. And that only happens when your deck is really strong, which I think this deck is. Okay, so that was duel number 4, I'm pretty sure. Double check. Yeah, okay, so we'll do number 5. What's this? 2 turns. Oh, I think I remember this duel. So this is against, okay, let's actually, okay, against any deck that's not Seikai, let's actually look at it. Okay. Um, you should probably have a third Max C and a third Ash Blossom, right? I mean, okay. I mean, this is the kind of, oh, no, no, no. Okay, I'm not in any position to criticize this deck, okay? Um, this deck actually goes hard. I'll just let them do their thing. Yeah, okay. I thought it was one duel, but it's not. It's this other one, and it's fantastic. Okay. So when you run a deck like mine that doesn't have any hand traps at all, not even like an Ariana, which is conceivably a hand trap that would work really well in our deck, because we could, use a Karma Cannon or a Torrential during their turn. Like, you're going to go up against decks sometimes where like their weakness is that if you hit them with a Max C and one or two other hand traps, then they're kind of screwed. Whereas a deck like ours, like they can hit us with all of the hand traps in the world, and we don't really care that much. And then they can also pop off forever, and we also don't care that much. I got lost for a minute. So something important about this deck that I have is sometimes you'll go up against a deck like this that combos forever. Like if this was one of those cheesy OTK decks, or if it was like an Exodia deck, we would lose. Like we wouldn't have any answer for them. But instead, what they try to do is first they have a spell negate. Okay, that's fine. They have Albion, who's going to be able to summon out Jaugen to make it so I can't special summon. And then they're going to sync XYZ it off into Dingirsu, which means that their entire field is protected from being destroyed twice. So a spell negate, completely indestructible, No special summoning. I think it protects by battle too, so we can't even normal summon and hit over Jaugen, because Dingirsu protects it, and because he put a Fallen of Albaz on our field, we can't activate an evenly matched from the hand. We can't activate an imperm from the hand. We can't even activate like a lightning storm. Not that we would want to. Like this is a real sort of lock your opponent down, can't do anything type deck. And he does make the right play by negating Cursed Eldland, because it would have allowed me to search for an Eldlich, which even though I can't summon him, I could target a specific card to get rid of it. For example, I could get rid of his Jaugen. That would allow me to start popping off. So yeah, this was the right play to negate it. However, because he negated it, he activated a monster effect. I can search out a card. He has Droll and Lockbird, which again, against a lot of decks, means that your turn is over. But not for us. We don't care. No special summoning. Don't care. We're just going to mill a bunch of cards. We already had a rollback in hand, so if we just had an Eldlich, we get the Eldlich in the grave. Eldlich grabs a rollback. Foolish Pearl Good sends Elemental Burst, or evenly matched rather, and we're already set. But we also get a whole bunch of other cards in grave. We have evenly, we have rollback, multiple rollbacks, battle phase. So what we're going to do here, because their whole field is protected from getting destroyed twice, is evenly matched. They get to keep one card, but like I can add an Eldlich to hand and target a card and get rid of it. I have a bunch of Fuel Eldlich Engine in the grave. I have a Karma Cannon for next turn. I have a Diabellstar to get an Omni Negate. Like, like that was a duel where like my opponent's like, oh, finally, someone who doesn't have any hand traps. No care, you're done. Okay. Now we have to go back to the usual stuff. Rescue Ace, Snake Eyes. Oh gosh, is this the 12? Okay, yeah. So in this duel, I make a misplay somewhere, and I'm actually curious to watch this back to figure out where the misplay happens. This duel goes on a lot longer than I should, but it's also a good instructive duel to be like, look, if you're having trouble with this deck, sometimes it can be because you need to making the right decisions. You have to figure out what your opponent's doing. You have to be patient. You have to remember survival is the ultimate thing. Like if you survive long enough, your engine has enough power that you can eliminate your opponent. Okay. So we have an evenly matched and we have a triple tactics thrust. So like and we have a Imseti. Like this is an amazing going second hand, especially against Rescue Ace. Like if I lost this, I would have been very sad. Okay. So obviously he still has 4 cards in hand. Imseti. We know he doesn't have it called by the grave because all 4 cards were set by Rescue. Okay. Whatever 1 card he has, he can't activate without okay. He activates Max C. We don't care. We already have a rollback in grave, so I just send one. He doesn't have any monsters, so whatever card we grab, we set. I almost always actually end up setting Trap Trick off of Thrust. Just it gives us a lot of flexibility. Like I'll usually probably would set a Karma Cannon, but like this way we could still go into a Karma Cannon if we want to. Grab a Happy just cause we don't need to summon it. We don't need to give them any extra draws. Okay, there. I think I did see the mistake. I don't think I ever activated Lord of Heavenly Prison, which means that when I summon it the following turn, it's not going to be able to set a spell or trap card from my deck. And if it was able to do that, then I probably would have been able to win in like turn 4. But it's not, so I'm gonna miss out on like being able to grab grass from the deck. Either that or I did activate it and I somehow like got ADHD auto clicking trying to skip past things and then accidentally canceled him being able to set the spell card. I hope it was the first one and not the second, but whatever. So he's popping off, he's doing the full thing. I don't even care if he makes SP because that just means I'm going to survive for another turn because he can't attack me directly. He chooses to banish the rollback. I don't really have any cards in my grave that I want to copy. Like I could copy Elemental Burst, but he would just dodge out of the way with SP. So ultimately banishing rollback on my own would just cost me 4,000 life points. And as you'll see as this duel goes on, you need to keep your life points intact. So they do get rid of all of our follow-up. I'm very patient. End phase, Trap Trick. Lord. So I could have set grass, or maybe I also would have just set like a King Sarcophagus so I could get my Horus cards online. But whatever. Like the fact that I didn't was a massive blunder. I just send another rollback so I can threaten to blow up his board at any time. I don't do it now though. Like I've had a number of duels where just having rollback onto Elemental Burst means your opponent has to make a bunch of suboptimal plays and they won't even like try to kill you. Like I think it's gonna be like 3 turns before he even activates that field spell. SP Little Knight and another banish. He banishes the rollback. This time I am gonna pay the cost to set copy Marilla to send a rollback. And he can't attack directly because he activated SP Little Knight. So I'm just like, the threat is always there. Okay. And I also have a Karma Cannon, so I can stop them anytime I want. It's not necessarily to do that now, though. They get a draw 1. Um, maybe I should have just Karma Cannoned there, because then I had to waste a Solemn Strike to keep them from destroying their other Link monster. Like, yeah, I don't know. Alright, we grab a Diabell Star. End phase. Okay. We do get a little more engine online. It's definitely not worth summoning Diabell Star to sacrifice Karma Cannon, especially because he put this card here, which implies that it's an imperm. There he does activate the field spell to get a draw 1 and to set a card, but even then I'm still not taking the bait. Like I need to survive for as many turns as possible. Like at this point I really am just in stall mode until I get something going. Ash Blossom, that's fine. Rollback. Finally, we activate Elemental Burst because it's like he has whatever a ton of cards in his back row. He has the field spell that's going to keep recycling resources, getting draws, and he already used his SP effect to bounce and come back. So now everything's going to be gone forever. He does have that Link 4 that's going to come out though, and it has a lot of attacks. So we do need to do something about that, and we don't have a rollback anymore either. We do have a Wanted, though. So he pops the Diabell Star, but Diabell Star already did her job. She grabs Sinful Spoils, so now their Promethean Princess is locked up. We're going to get a draw 1 from the Wanted and the normal spell. And we have some of our Eldritch Engine online. We have the Conquistador. We got a Waquero engraved from Diabell Star. So all of a sudden we're popping off. We also have Skill Drain, which, like, unfortunately we can't activate it because of life points, but like, look at that. We just stalled for a couple turns, and we're, like, in a completely commanding position. That's what happens when your deck is full of cards that give you plus a billion, like Elemental Burst and stuff. Eldritch being in attack mode is kind of dangerous, and this is probably an imperm, so this Conquistador is never going to do anything, but whatever. We'll just grab another Conquistador and put it in this row. We have another Lord of Heavenly Prison. Yeah, we're just absolutely popping off. See, all these cards give us plus a billion. It's important to have and amazing. Love this deck. Love the play style. Your turns are fast. You get to understand your opponent's weaknesses. It feels like a chess game. Love it. Okay, next duel. Okay, against like a pure Horus control. Yeah, I really like trade-in with a Horus deck, especially combined with like Lava Golem as like a going second card. Yeah, I think this is a neat deck. Oh yeah, I actually have a Royal Rare Dark Hole, so I kind of want to make a Dark Hole Dragon deck at some point. I also have a Royal Rare Pot of Desires. Yeah, that's a cool deck. Okay, but it is incapable of matching my deck's power. Yeah, actually, in this game, I make what could be considered a blunder. I remember this game because it only happened like a little bit ago. Yeah, I make a bit of a gamble, I guess, is maybe a better way to say it. Yeah, this is another game where it's important to be really patient. So I have a skill drain, but I'm going to choose not to activate it because I know I need to top deck something like Diabell Star, for example. And if I do top deck Diabell Star, I'd rather be able to get off to search out an Omni Negate if possible. They summon all their Horus monsters. We're not getting angry resistance, so no reason not to. I don't activate Skill Drain. I'm locked out of activating Skill Drain this turn, but Karma Cannon means they can't XYZ, they can't link, all their monster zones are filled up. And look at that, we did talk back Diabell Star, so we send a rollback, we grab the Omni Negate, we have another Trap Trick. So here, I don't know, I feel like the play might have been to wait for all his monsters to go into attack mode, and then just roll back, copy Karma Cannon to flip them all face down again or something. I don't know. But here, basically, what I'm going to do is before they're face up and protected by King Sarcophagus, I'm going to send Elemental Burst, blow up their whole board. But now, because I activated Trap Trick, I can't activate these traps, which means if they had a Walls of the Imperial Tomb or a King Sarcophagus or an Imseti in their hand, then they would have been able to summon all 4 of their Horus monsters again. It would have killed me. But they couldn't, so they didn't. Like, they probably had, like, maybe like a Lava Golem or a Maxi or something in their hand. So now, knowing they don't have that, I just know they have to top deck it, which, again, they totally could if they top deck King Sarcophagus. The skill drain's not going to help me, but... Alright, now we're popping off. Draw 2. King Sarcophagus. Get rid of Torrential. They use a Maxi. So that's an issue with hand traps is I feel like they're not as I don't know. It's kind of a different play style, and I like my play style. So GG. Like let me just quickly check. They have Dark Hole and they have Lightning Storm, but they don't have activate Dark Hole and Lightning Storm as a quick effect from your grave. So, do with that what you will. Final deck is versus a Kashtira stun player. They have triple Macrocosmos, which absolutely destroys our deck, so that would be bad if they got it. Yeah. I think this game, obviously you'll see in a second. I think this player has been hit with Nibiru, like one too many times because they have like full Kashtira combo. Yep, so they have that. Grab a birth. Oh, I see. Okay. So because they already activated Rise Heart, they wouldn't be able to make Shangri-Ira and then activate Rise Heart so that Shangri-Ira would activate an effect and then this could turn into a Rise Heart. So instead they have 3. They could just make they could just make a Rise Heart here with 3 materials, so it has a quick effect banish right away. But I guess instead they choose to have like a bigger field where they can take a card from our extra deck, they can banish a card. Like if you can banish your opponent's like Promethean Princess or something, that's an absolute killer. We use Eldlich to do a couple things. First, we want them to activate Unicorn so that our Thrust is live. And second, we want to take out Birth because we don't want them to banish all the cards we're going to send to Grave with Grass. They get rid of Zeus, doesn't matter. He does the right thing, which is that he doesn't use Fenrir. Like if he used Fenrir to banish Eldland, then I could summon back Eldlich and start doing stuff. Like right now, it's like if I use Eldlich to activate its effect and summon itself, then Fenrir on the next, chain link or whatever is going to banish him. So he did the right thing, but the right thing is going to cost him allowing me to have Cursed Eldland. Yeah, when you resolve grass, things go well. The fact that grass can sometimes also get you a draw 1 is freaking amazing. We didn't get a rollback or an elemental burst that turn, but luckily we drew into Foolish Burial Goods, which just sends it to grave. Yeah, this was a turn that we had double Eldritch in hand, which, as you can see, the second one in hand was useless. But it doesn't matter, because now we have 2 more rollbacks, plus an elemental burst, plus a torrential and a trap trick, so we're going to kill them. He's doing stuff. He's going to grab Birth. So first he wants to kind of clear the field by destroying 2 cards, but we're just going to say, no, I like my cards. Torrential, blow up the back row. Obviously, because our Eldritch is in hand, we can't summon him from the deck using Elixir. And that's another reason Paleozoic Marilla is great. It's just another easy way to get bodies, so you can link Eldritch off. Make the Light Charmer. They don't have any light monsters in grave. We're just going to attack them and kill them. And goodbye. Yeah, so after the live stream, after I've like updated my deck to the current version, I went 12 and 4, which is a 75% win rate. This deck is super fun. I, really enjoy the play style, and I hope that you are going to be able to enjoy it in the future as well. Going back to the deck profile, one other thing I wanted to add, like I talked about how I might want to consider adding a couple copies of Ice Dragon's Prison as like a tech card that you can use to help deal with Fire King Snake Eyes a little bit easier, but honestly it doesn't feel necessary. Like this deck I think is getting a lot closer to what like an optimal version of a 60 card deck will be. Like there's a couple more extra deck cards we can expect to get in the future that will make the deck a bit stronger, but this feels like it's kind of format proof, kind of super strong, and I don't see them like limiting or semi-limiting transaction rollback anytime in the future. Like there are just not enough decks that are able to abuse it in ways that are like taking over the meta. So I think that this deck, if you are looking for a fun deck that has a decent investment, might be worth your time. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.